what we're able to do and what we're really excited about with BioCoach is we're going to be looking at communicating better health and specifically to make healthy living simple directly to our customers, directly to our family, directly to, our community. And like just through having number one, a great product, number two, right, really, really good customer support. And I think those two things are sort of critical in terms of where we want to go.
Yo, what's up,
There he
bro?
is. What's going on?
How you been, dude?
Good, man. Good. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, man. Man, it's been a while. Man, I thinking about you, man, and everything you went through, dude. It's crazy, man.
I
It's crazy.
appreciate that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how well I've been doing as well. And just the recovery process has just been like night and day from 11 years ago. But I
Yeah,
guess that's the advance of technology.
yeah. No, man, your spirits, your positivity, and like dealing with something like that, like, and still just being like, you know what, that's not gonna get me down. That's not gonna like ruin my day, ruin anything, ruin my life. I'm just gonna fucking keep moving forward and going, dude. I tell you what, man, that's fucking so badass, dude. I
I
love it.
appreciate that. I mean, you know how it goes. You gotta focus your energy on the good and what you want to
You
be
have
true
to.
rather than the circumstances.
Yeah, dude, you have to. Absolutely, man. And especially with everything going on. I mean, you see it. Like, I mean, it's like you can't get away from it. Like, there's always something negative. Like, there's always some type of thing around the corner, and it's like, what side are you on? It's like, dude, like, I don't have time to pick sides. Yeah, I got so much shit going on right now. Like, I don't got time to be picking your sides or letting myself be put in a box that you want me to be in this box or this box. It's wild, man. It's wild.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a belief that whatever you're looking for, you'll find. And it's just about
Yeah.
auditing your perspective and the unconscious programs that are running that are leading you this way or that way, because it's all out there. We live in the dual reality that people try to avoid unknowingly, just looking for the good when there's just as much bad, but we label it as bad because we have a frontal lobe that allows us to be distinctively different from other animals to make meaning and judge things when
Yep.
it's all just, it just,
Yep.
there is everything. And so I've taken a fascination in Buddhism and just their philosophy of just like there is no good, there is no bad, there is no evil, or like it all just is. You
Mhm.
assign the meaning to it based on your perspective, and it's just
Really?
easier
That's
said than
interesting.
done. But
Interesting. When did you start getting into that?
it's been a few years now. I mean, I think it's been just the path I've been on. It's been leading me down that route of
Yeah.
just exploring different ideologies of life and just different. I have like a fascination with death and just like what that's like because I've been there. I've flatlined before. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like very intrigued by like just experiencing different levels of consciousness. And Buddhism. It started when Jackie gave me a book called Buddha's Brain, and the book was written trying to understand the psychology of a human mind and brain through religion, but the only religion they could actually show that through was Buddhism. And I don't identify it like with any type of religion, but the book was fascinating because they talk about so many different elements. But what really stood out to me was the level of suffering we create because we seek something and we attach ourselves to that outcome when really it's just like just be and enjoy your life. And
Yeah.
there you can't have good without bad. Like you can't have up without down because we're humans. We have a frontal lobe that distinctively tells us like, yes, like that's good, that's
Yeah.
bad. Other animals don't do that. They just live their life.
Yeah. Now that's interesting, man. That's definitely interesting. And um yeah, man, I can I'll have to I want to look that up, man, cuz it's definitely a good way to like look at things. No one's ever said that out loud. Like that we assign what is good and what is bad. Things are just what they are. And so that's definitely interesting, man.
Yeah, it's called Buddha's Brain. And then a second book I'd recommend, I just finished reading it, is called How to Do the Work with Dr. Nicole LePera. On Instagram, she's the holistic psychologist. And
Okay.
that book, like she talks about that in the beginning, because we have a frontal lobe that makes us different from other animals and from a tree or something like that. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we can observe things, we can compare ourselves, we can judge things, and it's all about how we identify in the external world. So
Yep.
Buddha's Brain and How to Do the Work, like two phenomenal books. And like
Okay.
if you follow her on Instagram, like you'll be blown away with just the information she puts out there.
Holistic uh
Psychologist. Yep.
psychologist. Okay. I'll have to follow her.
What's up, Matt?
Josh, how are you, man? How's it going?
I'm chilling, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Fucking fantastic. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Love it.
Yeah, I was
good.
home in under 48 hours and I've just been up and about on my own, since I left the hospital and just every day it's progressively gotten better. Jackie and I went to the driving range on Sunday and that just felt so good. And we came back and did some yard work and we now live in Florida. So just, getting out there and getting a sweat going was just,
Yeah.
it's incredible. I mean, that's why we went with the awake surgery because Dr. Q could be more aggressive and the recovery period was just like night and day from being fully put out, tube down your throat and all that. So, we're going to record a podcast about me being awake in the OR, which is a fucking crazy experience.
Yeah, oh my God. That is
Josh,
insane.
when did you move to Florida? Did you move because the surgeon was close there or?
We had planned on moving here for a year prior to moving here. We downsized into a condo before we decided to move out here, planning to move out here, and then the pandemic happened. So it was like perfect timing. But in May is when I had the seizure that revealed the new mass, and then it worked out to where I had met Dr. Q 4 years ago. A mutual connection introduced us, and we just I knew like I was like, oh man, and like his documentary came out on Netflix. The documentary that features him, it's a 4-part series called The Surgeon's Cut. He's the second episode. It's the Sacred Brain. It's about his story leaving Mexico, becoming like one of the top neurosurgeons in the world at Mayo Clinic, from John Hopkins to Mayo Clinic, and it's just phenomenal. But it worked out timing wise. We had already planned to move June 22nd is when we officially moved. Found out in May that I'd need another surgery. It worked out to where my health insurance clicked over August 1st. Dr. Q got me in the 22nd or the 26th. And it perfectly worked out. And I had known him already. So when I found out and we were moving to Florida, I was like, we're moving an hour and 20 minutes south of Mayo Clinic. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make it happen.
What part of Florida did you move to?
It's on the East Coast called Port Orange. It's just like 20 minutes south of Daytona Beach and just north of New Smyrna Beach.
Okay.
Small town. Yeah. It's like 40 minutes west or east of Orlando.
Okay. Sweet, man. That's awesome, dude.
Living by the beach. So it's nice.
Yeah. Now Florida's cool, man. Florida's cool for sure.
But yeah, man, it's been a while since I've seen you guys. I feel like that's the case for a lot of people. And I'm stoked to have you guys on the podcast and officially welcome you to the Great Matters podcast. I've been wanting to chat with you guys for a minute. So I'm thankful to have some of your time today.
Hey, dude, we love it. Dude, thank you for having us, man. We always love chatting with people. Well, you know me, I don't shut up. So everybody knows that. So please tell me to shut up if you need me to shut up. I love talking. And like you said, dude, me and Matt had the same conversation in July. Like, dude, we miss people. Like, we miss getting together with people. We miss hanging out with people. That is what made our community so special. Is like, because when we got together, we all vibed and we all had a good time, and the energy was always high. We made so many connections, and then me bringing people who've never met these people, bringing them in together, and then now they're friends, and now they're doing lives, and they're hanging out. It's like, it's so cool, and I'm glad you said that, because me and Matt were like the same way, man. We miss everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see people in the masses again, like events and all that stuff. It's so much fun, and it's funny because I feel like I have like an upgraded brain since the surgery. I feel like I have like your level of energy now. The first couple of days, Jackie was like trying to adjust, and like she was like, "I'm gonna kill you if you don't shut up." I just was like nonstop. But it's like 10 plus years of my brain trying to communicate, and now all of a sudden it's like effectively communicating and not burning energy trying to do so. And it's just like everything is just so clear, and it makes so much sense as to how much suffering I was going through, and I didn't even know it. And now I'm just like, fuck, like I'm so excited to be alive. I've always been, but like now I'm just like, my brain is like on another level, and I just everything's just so clear, and I just feel so good and like grateful, and like it's amazing. And I just keep getting reminded of you, because I remember when I first met you, it was just like, what's up, like just high energy, and I was like, I want to be like that. Like it's just, but now I am. It's fantastic.
I only got 2 speeds, and that's super chill, which no one ever sees. And just let's fucking go. Like, that's it. That's all the speeds I got. There is no in between. We're either going all the way, or I'm asleep and we're chilling. So yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, cool. I can like tell Josh it's like I can tell there's like a new energy about you. It's so interesting. I'd love to. I can't wait to hear, just the story of the surgery and what that was like being awake. And I just can't imagine.
Dude, it was trippy. It was trippy. I'll leave it there until Jackie and I record that episode. I know people have been waiting for it, so I've been taking so many notes for it, and it's just it. To say the least, it was trippy. Just going to the OR. I've been in the OR a couple times and never awake, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
But cool. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, and I want to hop right in. And I want to start with asking you guys, like, what's the main purpose behind BioCoach? Because you guys are such a profound and passionate group of people, and the brand and what it stands for. We've done some work together in the past, and I know there's a higher purpose than just providing data, and I want to get your take on that. So whoever wants to start with that, maybe Matt, since you're like the mastermind behind the tech of this, let's hear your take on like what is the purpose, like why does BioCoach exist?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So my background, as you know, Josh, is medical devices, and actually we shared the same experience of on very different sides of working in medical devices and radiation therapy. Obviously you being a patient, and there's a lot of things frankly, that are broken with medical devices in general. A lot of things when it comes to, the way that customers, the way that medical device companies treat customers, I feel like oftentimes isn't necessarily as a person. I might get in trouble for saying that because there's certainly some that do. But by and large, I think the industry struggles with sort of like an old business mentality. There's just a tremendous, and it's not because of, it's like, I think maybe similar to how like working at maybe General Mills or some of these big food companies, which pack tons of sugar and, terrible ingredients into these products. I don't think any one person is like evil or like pulling the strings. It's just like it's a massive ship that is very difficult to steer, and so you may have people on board who want to go this way or that, but as a whole it's very difficult for some of these medical device companies, and for anyone who's ever been involved in medical devices, speaking to the end user is tremendously difficult and challenging and confusing. And I think there's a lot of self-realization within the industry that that's happening. And I think there's a lot of things that, frankly, in our healthcare system that are just broken. There's just a lot of brokenness, a lot of perverse incentives, a lot of things from a business perspective that really drive, sort of the state of American healthcare today. And I think that is an opportunity at the same time, because I think, COVID really exposed some of the, the shortcomings of our healthcare system. In one of those, in an area that we have a lot of experience in, is working directly with people and really understanding our customer. We're not like in a massive corporate office in Palo Alto with a bunch of MBAs. You're looking at Logan, who's wearing a cutoff tank top, and I think I have a hoodie on. I'm sorry, I apologize. But we're sort of we have a lot. We're really lucky to have the experience of what we would say is like meeting people where they are. And so that experience and being in, the keto space and selling a ketone meter and allowing people to track data and analytics, and really having to like being a customer and understanding our customer is sort of where we started. And so all of that to say, as a long answer, I think the tools, what we're able to do and what we're really excited about with BioCoach is we're going to be looking at communicating, better health and specifically to make healthy living simple directly to our customers, directly to our family, directly to, our community. And like just through having number one, a great product, number two, right, really, really good customer support. And I think those two things are sort of critical in terms of where we want to go. So BioCoach as a whole, so does that answer your question? I guess it's sort of a big picture, and then I can talk a little bit more about BioCoach.
No, it does. And I'd like to see what Logan's perspective is on his perspective of the purpose behind the brand. Because I know, Logan, you came in to the picture on the business side after BioCoach was formed. And I actually want to talk about the name change, and because I think that's profound. And actually I like BioCoach better because it reaches the masses more than the old name. And we'll get into that in a second. So Logan, from your perspective, like why does BioCoach exist?
Yeah. So I think, well, for me, it's always been like, I've always shared my personal experience, right? My personal experience with everything that I do. Anybody who follows me on Instagram, YouTube, whatever you may follow me on, I'm not certified. I didn't go to school, do all these other things. All I have is my life experiences. And I have so many family members. I'm Mexican American. I got a big ass Mexican family. I always joke about it. If you follow me, you see us every Sunday getting together. And a lot of my family members have health issues, have metabolic health issues, from diabetes, lupus, thyroid diseases, and just all kinds of health issues. And I talk to them because they know what I do. They've seen my transformation. They've seen everything I do in life. They follow me on Facebook. They follow me on Instagram. They follow me on YouTube. And they're like, you work out, you eat healthy. Like, that's cool, mijo. That mijo in Spanish is little boy. So they're like, oh, that's cool, mijo. And I'm like, you know what? Aunt, uncle, cousin, why aren't you eating healthy? Like, why don't you do these things that are healthy? They don't know. There's not enough education out there for them. My family members who had battled with diabetes, if they do check their glucose, they don't know what the number means. They have no clue. They just check it because their doctor said to check it. Or they're on insulin because that is how they're going to manage their diabetes for the rest of their life. Know nothing about nutrition. Know nothing about how nutrition can reverse their type 2 diabetes or manage it a lot better, right? All they know is, hey, this is what so-and-so told me, and then I got to take this medication, I got to do this insulin, I got to do this. There's just no one out there that I feel that truly cares. And that's what makes Matt and I completely different. When you think about all these other companies, these medical companies, you don't know who the owners are. You don't know who the CEOs are. When you think of BioCoach, you know it's Matt and I. You know who we are. You know we're just like regular people. We got kids. We got families. We got issues. We deal with everything on a daily basis that everyone else goes through. So we're more for the people, right? Like, we're more connected. We're actually boots on the ground. And so for me, BioCoach, I take very personally, and the movement of BioCoach, because like you said, our previous name put us in a box. We don't want to be in a box. We want to be for everybody. We want to be for the masses. I don't care how you eat, what you do, what your religion is. We don't care. All we know is that we want to help you battle your metabolic diseases, and we're going to show you how to do it the right way, with proper diet, a proper nutrition plan. And we're going to show you how to do it. We're going to hold your hand, and we're going to walk you every step of the way, because that is what's lacking, or at least with my family members, that is what's lacking from them having a healthier lifestyle and a simpler, easy way to have that healthy lifestyle. So.
No, I love it. I love it. And I love the passion, and I can relate on so many levels. And the key word you use is metabolic health. And I'm glad you said that, because that was, for me, what changed the game in 2013 when I read Grain Brain by Dr. David Perlmutter, who's like my hero in the health world. And Metabolic Health Summit is what allowed me to meet him in person. And that changed the game for me. That changed so many aspects, and that put me on the path I'm on today. And what I'm hearing, you're not saying this directly, but what I'm hearing is like the purpose is like empowering people to take charge of their health. And that's a big word for me. And that's probably why I hear it so often in different ways. It's like your BioCoach is giving people a tool to audit and collect data of what they're doing, and then empower them through the app and the education platform of how they can, increase and optimize their health. And so I love that. And before we get into the different backgrounds you guys have and then talk more about BioCoach in a technical perspective, I'm curious, like, what was the inspiration for changing the name? You kind of already alluded to it or directly said it, but because I know it started out as Keto Coach and then it evolved into BioCoach, but then there was like a fasting coach aspect in there. Like, how did it come to be BioCoach today? Which, again, I love because it doesn't put you in a box. And I went through that with like my health coaching, just being labeled as a health coach and then being a keto coach. And like, now I'm an optimization strategist. Like, I came up with my own name. It's like, because it doesn't put me in a box, because keywords, these buzzwords, people have their own internal representation of it and then they get scared. And then someone that you could help is now afraid and they don't reach out, or they avoid you because they have their own representation of it. So was that kind of like the inspiration behind changing the name to BioCoach today?
Yeah, no, I don't know, Logan, I don't know if you want to answer that or.
No, you go. You
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, I mean, the name change to BioCoach. One of the things that we wanted to be conscious of is, what there's a sense, I think, that sometimes when something like keto, for example, gets into the mainstream, it sort of gets corrupted, if you will, by maybe well-intentioned people, various organizations, food companies, and so on. And so I think one of the things that we've always been big on is again, meeting people where they are. If that means that they're if that means that they're keto, obviously we love and support that. If they use exogenous ketones or whatever, we love that. That's our core and that's our community. But with the reason for the change, and one of the big reasons for the change, is that there's a larger issue right now in our country of diabetes. And with the technology that we're getting ready to release, which I can maybe talk about that later, with that technology, we're going to have an ability to go and talk to people directly, like we've done with Keto Coach. But we feel like there's a huge problem to tackle with diabetes, and there's, for example, 34 million Americans are living with diabetes, according to the CDC. 70 million Americans have prediabetes. And here's a fact that blew my mind. Of the 70 million Americans who have prediabetes, 10% know that they have it. So there's 90% of Americans who are living with metabolic disease or who are at risk of diabetes are right on the edge, and they don't even know it. And so when you have a massive number of people who could benefit from like the products that we have, a ketogenic diet, a low carb, whole foods based diet, that's a huge problem that, in Logan and I's opinion, nobody's solving. And so the name BioCoach is meant to reflect that new broader mission of, hey, we're not just like helping you on keto, but we want to help people live healthier, and essentially, our new mission is make healthy living simple.
Yep.
And the tools that we have allow people to take control of their health and understand what their body's doing to manage those diseases, including finding out if they're potentially pre-diabetic. Yep. So really excited about that. It's a huge challenge, though, and it's a huge issue that we're facing in the country at the moment.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it took a brain tumor for me to realize that what I was doing wasn't working for my health. And I can't imagine what it's like for the people that maybe don't have that wake up call, that are living with pre-diabetes, or that just take that on as like a new identity. And like, this is how my life's going to be. Because before I get a concussion that found the MRI, that led to the MRI that found the tumor, I was just accepting the suffering that I was going through as a normal day of my life, because that's what I was willing to do to get to where I wanted to go, which was living my dream as a BMX athlete. So I love what you guys are doing. And on that note, I want to talk about what you guys currently offer. And I know because there's an app that's involved, like you guys have come a long way in a short amount of time. So whoever wants to go, like, let's just talk about some of the, like the products that you offer in the app, and like the background of how all that comes together.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we started out selling a ketone monitor, and a ketone monitor allows you to check for ketones. It was a blood ketone monitor. We sold the urine strips as well. And it was a way to check if you're in ketosis and track if you're in ketosis. And that's what we built our brand Keto Coach on for over 2 years. Recently, we started adding, in last year, I think it was almost a year ago, we launched the Fast Coach app, which was a way to keep track of your ketones, your glucose, track intermittent fasting. And then we also had these challenges, which we produce in the studio that Logan's in right now, where, we have like a 5-day ketosis challenge and, a 72-hour fasting challenge. And we brought on some, amazing people like Dr. Jamie Seaman, Dr. Fit and Fabulous on Instagram, Robert Sykes, Danny Vega. We brought together a whole team of people to provide that educational content within the app. And then, I guess this is a good time to talk about it. We, in July of 2020, submitted our glucose and ketone meter to the FDA for review. The review process typically takes 90 days, not more than 180 days. And shortly after our review began, the FDA had to pull all of their reviewers off of in vitro diagnostic tools and assign them to COVID in vitro diagnostic tools, so COVID testing and the rest. And so, it wasn't just us. There was these multi-billion-dollar, Roche, for example, had a CGM which was delayed. These multi-billion-dollar companies which were also impacted by this sort of delay, but the FDA said, hey, there's other public health priorities. And so we were sort of, we're sitting there, and for the glucose and ketone monitor, we're waiting for a signature. And when we have the signature, we're pretty excited to share the details of, what the product's going to do, and some of the ways it's unique and the way our system's unique. So I can't share that yet. As of today, but when we're able to, it's really, there's a tremendous disconnect, I think, from you sort of said it very astutely, Josh, which is there's sort of a data set, and but the question is, like, what do you do with the data set? It's like one thing to buy something from IKEA. Buy a table from IKEA and be given the tools and all the parts to like put it together. But to have a set of directions, without a set of directions, I can barely put the thing together with directions, but without directions, it's nearly impossible. And I think that's something that nobody really does a great job of right now, is providing that set of directions and providing that roadmap to make that healthy living simple. So that's sort of the direction we're going in, and we're also one of the things we're super excited about, and we're going to be announcing soon, so your listeners have like a sneak preview of what's going to be happening. But we're going to be releasing an A1C at home test, so you'll be able to check your A1C at home, the privacy of your home, at an affordable price. So that is something we're super excited about. And we're going to be sharing more here in the next few weeks. So if you haven't already, go check out biocoach.io. I don't know, Josh, when is this episode airing?
It can come out as if soon as a few weeks. I got a
Okay.
couple in front, but I mean, I can move it around. So yeah, I was going to ask you before we move on, like shout out the website for sure.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the reason is if it's right now we're targeting early October for the A1C meter. So if we're able to, we're probably going to be releasing that. And
I think I'm scheduled out to August or October 4th as of now, so
okay,
I can get this one out there. By the time people
okay,
are listening, it'll be first week of October, second week of October, so it'll be
okay,
perfect.
awesome. Well,
Perfect.
yeah, then yeah, we should have it available. It's an A1C at home test kit. So you're able to test your A1C at home. A1C uh, is uh, is essentially a measure of your average blood glucose levels over the past 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a really and a high A1C level correlates to a level of prediabetes or diabetes. So if you have a high A1C level, you're diabetic. One of the great things and why it fits into our wheelhouse so well is that there's been all sorts of studies showing a ketogenic diet can help reduce A1C levels
Dramatically.
tremendously in
Yeah.
individuals. So yeah. So that's something we're super excited to get out there.
Yeah, and I think Dr. Ryan Lowry and Sean Wells have explained the difference of a blood test, like a prick your finger blood test, and an A1C as like, pricking your finger and getting a reading. It's like a snapshot of what your blood sugar is like now. A1C is looking at blood sugar damage like glycation and things like that as like over the long haul of like 2 to 3 months. And I've had this experience with clients that we start with a baseline, get their numbers, and then through low carb ketogenic dieting and fasting and things like that, exercise and the hydroberberine and things like that, we've seen dramatic shifts in 3 to 6 months. Like just their doctors are like, what are you doing? And like, oh, I'm just changing the way I eat and like working with the coach. Like, so like how you guys are talking about making it simple. I mean, that's my objective with my clients, is to give a step-by-step strategy. Here's some tools. I recommend Keto Coach, or what I used to be Keto Coach, now BioCoach, all the time, because there was a video that Ryan put out a while ago, which I know a couple companies got pissed off about, but he was comparing all the different devices. And then knowing your background with the Gamma Knife technology, it's no wonder why that, at the time, Keto Coach, now BioCoach, was probably the most accurate besides, what's the brand? Precision.
Precision. Yep.
Yep. So it's just, the technology is so accurate, and that's important because you want to have a realistic idea of what's going on in your body. And I know there's some things you've told me in private that's going to be coming out soon, and I'm or whenever it is, and I'm super excited because people need this technology, because they need to know what's going on now. And then with the app and the education platform and having these different thought leaders and experts guiding you, essentially, it's such an amazing thing that's going to put people's health back in their own hands and empower them to do so. It's at the very least going to give them an option of, here's what you can do. It's just a matter of, do you want to do it? And that's where the mental, emotional, psychological work comes in, is like working through all that and living beliefs. But what you guys are doing is amazing, and I'm super stoked to be a part of your work, and just to have you here and to know that you guys exist. So I also want to follow up with like, what's the vision that BioCoach is working towards, like in your mind? Because I'm a big proponent of that, like what you're working towards in your mind, because it's just a matter of you believing in that, taking congruent actions, and just letting time catch up to that vision. And I'm experiencing that today. It's taken me 11 years to get to where I am, but I didn't give up. And so I'm curious, like, what is the vision you guys are working towards? Because that's something that, like, Dr. Martin Luther King and Gandhi and like Jesus, like all these different thought leaders in the past that we admire, they were told, what your vision is doesn't make sense, because with our senses, it didn't make sense because we couldn't see it, we couldn't hear, but to them it was so real, and then it became true. And that's something I'm a big believer in. So I'm curious, like, what's the vision behind BioCoach in terms of like, what do you see in the future? Where do you see the brand going? And what ultimately do you see for society?
Yeah, no, that's a really I love that question, and it's such a great, it is so important because I was telling Logan and I have talked about this, and actually it sounds maybe it sounds maybe silly, but we really take the mission seriously, so much so that we're having conversations about what someone might think is a trivial issue, business problem, but we always talk about, well, hey, does it fit with the mission of making healthy living simple?
Yep.
And one of the things that our vision for how we want to we want to address some of the problems that exist in the market, that exist in the world, is making sure that people have access to information, have access to tools that can help them along their journey. But most importantly, having an ability to connect with people who are having real problems and real challenges. I think there's a lot of times a stigma associated with people. People feel if they receive a diagnosis of diabetes, scared, angry, frustrated. And I think that emotional, personal connection is the most important thing that we can impact through our technology, and help specifically letting people know that it's okay. It's okay, and there's something that we can do about it. And I think a lot of times, just the way our healthcare system is set up, you receive a diagnosis like that. Josh, when they found the brain tumor, they weren't like, well, maybe you can do this and it's possible to do this. Like, no, there was probably a treatment plan created, a strategy involving radiation, gamma knife, surgery, et cetera, et cetera. There was a plan. And, you didn't necessarily have to take any action other than showing up to the surgery room or showing up to radiation, right? But with a disease like diabetes or prediabetes, it's different because it's every day and it's like a treatment that's ongoing. And so to the mission and to the big picture, having being able to treat people's diabetes, reverse their diabetes, beyond just managing it with medications and drugs and that sort of thing. I think that's what's driving us. But to your original question, the mission is make healthy living simple. And so however we need to do that, that's what we're going to do. And I don't know, Logan, if I missed anything.
Yeah, no, I think I think you hit on a lot of key points. When I look at the vision, like, it's scary. Like, when I look at where we are, where we're going to be in the next 4 or 5 years, like, it is terrifying in a good way, because we are totally going against the grain. We're totally going against what normal medical companies do and how the medical practice and procedures work, right? We're going straight to the person, connecting to them, helping them, walking them through everything. The last thing we're talking about is we're going to put you on this medication, or we're going to put you on this. Like, no. And we're going to actually do explaining, which they don't do. I'll use a perfect example. My sister was pregnant with her first child, and she ended up getting gestational diabetes. Her doctor gave her her blood sugar and her glucose meter. And so I'm watching her. She's writing down her numbers. She's checking it. She's writing on a little notepad, writes it down, puts everything back, zips everything back up, and then goes to the kitchen and makes her a hot Cheeto sandwich. I'm like, what are you doing? But no one told her. What does that number mean? What are you doing? What should you do based on that number? What's the next step, like Matt just said? And nobody's doing that, especially in the diabetes health management. Like, no one's doing that. They just told her, here, you're going to check this for a couple of days and come back and we'll go over your numbers. Not, hey, if it's this, you should probably be doing this. And by the way, you probably should be eating this so we can get rid of your gestational diabetes. My wife had gestational diabetes on our second child. And I made her go strict keto. She didn't like it, but she did it. And we obviously reversed her gestational diabetes, and Camila popped out like that. So it worked.
Didn't you guys get your doctor on board for keto and like low carb strategies?
So it was so crazy. So my doctor, our OBGYN was a vegan, right? He's a vegan, and he's from India. And so like, I mean, we had him with our first child. I go in there. This is a funny story. This is the funny story. I have to tell the story. Crystal hated every time I would go to the doctor with her because the nurse, the doctor, and everybody will want to talk to me about keto, health questions. What do I eat? What do I work? How do I work out? What's fasting? And she'd be like, shut up. I'm here to find out about our child. I don't care about your, like, I'm like, babe, like, cause they would walk out, and she would just hammer me. I'm like, babe, like, what do you want me to do? Like, they're asking me these questions. I'm gonna answer their question. She's like, oh, I can't. She would just roll her eyes. I can't stand coming with you. Like, we're here to find out about the baby. But long story short, after we had Camila, we went back to the doctor, I think for like a checkup or something. And our OBGYN told me, he's like, hey, I'm trying keto now. It was
I remember you telling that
dude,
story
like,
on a podcast a couple years ago.
like, dude, you're a doctor. You're getting advice from me. Like, what?
That's amazing.
But results speak for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
It's interesting, Logan. You brought up a really good point that, and that's something that one of the things that we can help fix is that right now the average medical doctor, I was talking to somebody about this, receives essentially the equivalent of like a semester's training on nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not a doctor, but I did go to the University of Wisconsin, and I took a geology class for a semester. But I assure you, I am no geologist. And so I think like there's such a massive amount of information, and the data is always changing. There's always new studies, new publications relating to health, nutrition, food, and we're learning so much that it's hard to a semester's study is not necessarily going to set you up for the long term of like really understanding nutrition and metabolic health. So that's it's just a note to Logan's point. It's 100% true. Like there's just more education, and so helping people with that would be sort of our mission.
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's, I mean, my story of being diagnosed with brain tumor, they were just like, you need surgery. That's it. And I on my own, I found the power of nutrition, the power of exercise, the power of mindset and mental and emotional work. And that's, to your point about community and breaking the stigma of getting these diagnoses. That's why I share so openly. That's why Logan shares so openly, is because one, we're not afraid to share, because our mission is to empower other people. And if that's through storytelling, if that's through experiences, then like that's it. And I've dedicated my life to doing that. And so is Logan, and so are you. And I just really appreciate that, because there's such a lack of community. Or I shouldn't say lack, because it's building, but like so many people feel alone. So many feel broken, isolated, especially the last year and a half. And it's just, if we can change that, if we can connect with people and empower them and inspire them, more importantly, then that's going to lead to change. And it could be just one small shift of just, hey, just drink water before you have a soda. If you got to start there, let's meet you where you are. Like, just start with hydrating via electrolytes or something like that before you have your coffee. Like just different things like that. Maybe instead of, one processed meal a day, why don't you go and have like a steak and some Brussels? And then people usually like, oh, steak's healthy. It's like, yeah, why not? Like, tell me why it's not healthy. But there's such a lack of information, and then a huge disconnect of the information of what's real and factual, that people get confused. So I love the fact of community, and you guys are doing such a great job at that. And, I appreciate you guys coming on. And before we do hop off, I want you guys to plug your social media, because I want people to be able to find you and find the information. We talked about the website, but let's plug that again.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Right around October of 2020, right after we had launched the Fast Coach app, our Keto Coach account was taken down by Instagram. So we had a lot of followers. So if any of your followers are listening and you're like, I haven't seen Keto Coach in a while, what happened to them? Our account was blocked. Instagram said it was a mistake, but there has been no.
It was right before the election.
Yeah. So, but you can.
I remember you guys going through that, and I was just blown away.
You know what? It's okay. Logan always says winners adjust, and so we actually we put a lot of effort into platforms like TikTok. So you can follow us at biocoach.io on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. go to our website, biocoach.io. That's going to be our new website going forward, with our new brand name and everything like that. So you can still buy the Keto Coach meter. The Keto Coach ketone monitor is not going away. The strips aren't going away. All that's staying. But now it's just going to be under the BioCoach umbrella.
Nice.
Yeah, you can find me. You can find me on Instagram at Goody Beats, TikTok at Goody Beats, YouTube at Goody Beats. So yeah, those are my main platforms. If you want to see myself, my crazy two beautiful little girls, and my family, come check me out on YouTube. And then on Instagram, I'm just showing the food I eat and me working out. That's pretty much what I show all the time.
I love it. And I got to get you guys individually back on the podcast, because you guys have fascinating stories, like everyone does. And I want to be able to share that as well. But I appreciate you guys taking the time today. I'm going to do my best to get this out the week of October 4th. I took a note to make sure I prioritize that, so that way we can, promote what you guys got coming up. And I'm sure we'll be in touch as well on the side. And I just appreciate everything you guys are doing. I appreciate you guys having me be a part of it and getting to connect. And I think it was Metabolic Health Summit 2019 where I spoke and then performed, and Matt, you came up to me and it was like, told me about your background in Gamma Knife and what you guys were doing with Keto Coach. And it was just like everything in my life, it just seems to be perfectly synced with everything that's necessary to move my life forward and to help other people do the same. So I can't thank you guys enough for sharing and for being a part of the Great Matters podcast.
Yeah, Josh, one thing we wanted to say to you too is like, we really appreciate you and all of your story. You're like an amazing person. You always have so much to share, so much positivity to share. And Logan and I like totally feed off of that. And I genuinely, like, I was so lucky to have met you in 2019. I can't believe it's almost been 3 years. But yeah, we like really appreciate you, everything you do. Like, thank you so much. We're super, super excited about the future, and we'll definitely be talking soon.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Well, you guys have a good day. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'll be talking to you guys soon.
Yeah, man. All right. See you later. Bye.
Later.